So they cannot. And so this has forced migration to the United States. I'm really wrong here. This is the border between the United States and you know the conditions. This is from the earlier migration, and it's a criminal. The Catholics try to talk about the war on Berlin, and that they turned out the wall that Reagan said. But what about the wall that they have been constructing in Berlin and the United States? That's how we do that, because that's the plans that we have with the boards. There is a lot, but just to call attention that this is something that we have to oppose vehemently, that we have to, even in the anti-war movement, this is an act of war against the people of Mexico, and we have to oppose militarization of the border. But Latin America has back, not because it's less important, because of the time. And here are some of the 3 guilty people that represent their people. I'm putting the person, not the people, but that doesn't mean because they have represented the people who have initiated movement, particularly in the last 10 years, to deal with neoliberalism and to have the sovereignty. This is Correa from Ecuador and Evo Morales. But anyway, I think it's. I just want to end. I'm not the end because it's too late. But I just want to call attention to the University of Puerto Rico student strike, and because it is a very important issue, and not only because they won all their demands and the government didn't win anything, and it's like, in this kind of soccer, it's the students for the administration zero. The administration the administration of the University of Puerto Rico is representing the interests of Wall Street and the United States, and it's the process of neoliberalism. That's why I'm including this here. And also, many people don't think of Puerto Rico as Latin America. Puerto Rico is part of Latin America and the Caribbean, and because we have been imposed the citizenship, so our youth go to wars in the United States, we are second-class citizens. And we are as immigrants as also the undocumented immigrants. And we are with all the immigrant people and strongly back. And I just want to hear no more time. Sorry.
Now, part 2 of the workshop is going to begin in a little bit, but it's based on the first 3 presentations. If anyone wants to raise any discussion, that would be great. So now it's everyone else's turn to talk, and we hope to hear some reaction. And Fred and Berta and Abiyomi would be happy to respond to any of the points people that have been raised and any people's questions. So it'll be great. Thanks. Questions, anyone?
Well, I hope this isn't totally appropriate. It's not so much a question as just a thought I had while Fred was speaking. You were talking extensively about the development of capitalism and the development of many things that are about the Great Depression. Remind me of the Great Depression. I was actually remembering what the real Clarence Thomas. There's more than one. Clarence Thomas of the International Longshore Workers Union had said in the G20, which was, that the strength in his union came from his ability to organize independently of the Democratic Party. And I think that's something that we know. Well, especially with Barack Obama, that we defend him against racist attacks. But, to have that ability to have the consciousness to organize outside the Democratic Party. And just a couple of historical things that I think people might not have known about, about actions that have been taken, is in the Great Depression, Roosevelt was actually killing the dairy cows and putting lime on them to to solve the problem of overproduction, to solve the problem that there was too much food and but people didn't have the money to buy it. And then there's also been talk about issues with the Pentagon, that the Pentagon itself is not even running to full efficiency standards. If you assume they need everything they have, which I'm not going to give them that, but even if you assume that, they're still wasting a quarter to a third of what they have. And Barack Obama has approved the largest war budget. And so that just shows a point that I really just wanted to drive home was, really the importance of organizing outside the Democratic Party. Because sorry, you want to say something? Because, the Democratic, that especially in the organized labor movement, that's been a major problem. Because the Democratic Party helped sign Taft-Hartley, I'm sure. I'm sure there's plenty of Democratic signers on that bill. The Democratic Party has betrayed us in so many instances. It's betrayed, it's been, was dragged kicking and screaming on civil rights. And, we have the power, and we need to not put our into the pockets of the party of the rich.
Any other comments, or I guess do you want to respond, Fred or Abione or Berta, to Adam's remarks? Okay.
I know they said it was more of a comment, but...
Anyone else want to raise a question, or Kevin?
Yeah, it was a great talk and everything. We were just talking about the history of the city and the racism and police brutality. We have situations here in Detroit with police brutality. Also, we have African American men being framed for murders they didn't commit because of faulty DNA versus testing in the crime lab. We have a young lady who was murdered over a month ago named Jones. And this is a case that's been naturally claimed around the country. What happened with her, this is a young lady that was 7 years old, was killed by a white police officer. Blast grenade was inside of her home. They were after this African American man and murdered another man. And they actually sent this man into the wrong part of the house. He was standing upstairs, and this happened at night. We have things like this going on in Detroit, and it's time now to put an end to police corruption, police brutality, and people have to get out the grassroots. People have to fight back. Resistance, unconventional ways, conventional ways, and unconventional ways. We need to have self-defense established in Detroit against the police. Because this comes on every day. You hear somebody getting shot.